Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world, it's the world away. We're now going to be doing stages 44 and 45 of Hachette Partworks build the Spitfire Mk1a. Now the video you're about to watch has been edited from the live stream that I did for the Patreons on Wednesday. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be doing the start of the landing light for the starboard wing, and we're going to be finishing the landing light for the port wing. So in issue 44, let's show you the magazine. Now, as you can see here, we've got some sprue with some details. It does tell us that we're going to be left with two parts on the sprue. Just here, they said there's been a modification in the design. They're no longer needed, so we don't need the two parts that we've got on that sprue. But as you can see here, we're going to be installing the landing light that we made in the last issue into the port wing, and then we're going to be doing a lot of wire tidy to get all of these in one place. And once that's done, we should be able to open and close this flap to open the landing light. I do question later on in this build, do we do that manually or do we do it motorized? Seems a bit weird that you have a light on that is always going to be on unless you open up. Not quite sure about that. And as you can see in the next issue, we're going to do pretty much what we did in issue 43. So gonna be a fun build. So without further ado, let's get cracking. So I'm going to bring over the just trying to line it up on camera best there. Probably best like that. Now once again, these stands are available through Oligo Models, and I'm going to put a link up on the screen for that. And there we go, there's a link on the screen for Oligo Models where you can get the stand from, and this includes you can get the support separate as well. So when I'm working on this and pushing this down, the whole plane's not going to tip over, but it's invaluable to work on. Obviously I've got my light in there. Everything's working. I did take off the light bleed I put on there just while I work with that, and I'll put it on. And I've still got my insulating tape that I worked on the last issue, because we're actually going to be using that in this issue here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be opening the LED up. This LED is a little rectangular at the end, as you can see there. Nice little rectangle. And we're going to be putting one of the stickers on. Now this sticker says L3. I do make sure that I say that when we do these builds, because I've had a few stickers fall off in the past and I don't know where they're from, so it's handy to go back. So there we go, that's on just like that. That was stage 1 completed. We're now going to take the landing light that we worked on in the last issue. Now that's going to be going into this sort of like off, what's a square called when it's not a square? This 4-sided shape. We're going to be putting that in here, but this section here at the bottom needs to be underneath this section here. So when it's in, hopefully this is going to fit perfect. We'll see. Just like that. I'm going to hold this side. You should be able to tilt up and down. Just like that. I'm going to let it sit there because we need to put a cover on that now. Now the cover for that is on the sprue here, and it's labelled A. We're going to be gluing this on, so I need to cut this off first with my sprue cutters. This little detail here looks like a cone in the middle. The point of the cone is going to be towards this edge here. The open side's going to be this edge. But that's just going to go over those two lugs that we can just see. Let me point to them. There and there. We're going to need to put glue in it, but we don't want to swamp it with glue, because the worst thing we can do is stick this together. I'm going to put the parts on the outside, the glue on the outside of these lugs here. That way I know for a fact this will stick, but there's no way it's going to pin down those bits in there. Now can I do this with my hands? I'm going to try. That's going to be a no. Right, let's get me tweezers. God, this is hard. A little bit fiddly, but the wires are getting in the way for this as well. Okay, I'm going to be quiet for a second. There we go. Oh, that was in place. Stand by. I'm just going to hold that in. There you go, but that's in, and it's still able to move, as you can see there. We will be pinning the other side down. I don't know when we do that. Do we do that now? I'm just checking. We do that now. For the other side, we're going to be putting in this one just here. So I'm going to cut that off the sprue. Now this has got an open end, as you can see there. The open end is what's going to be facing towards this landing gear. It's going to go over these sections here, but this one is going to be screwed in with 2 times 4mm screws. Now we've got the pack of screws here, so I'm going to open them up, pin this section into place, just like that, and then we can screw that down. That's one. And we'll put number 2 in here. Get in there. That's number 2. There we go. Now, I don't know, this landing gear is not going to be controlled. I take it we're just going to pull it down manually with our hands, aren't we? Is that what we're going to do? It can't be, well, I don't know. Is it going to be motorized? No idea. Anyway, so we've done that. Now we're going to be taking the LED that we had last time. I'm going to take this off because we're going to be inserting the flat end of this LED. It says rectangular. Let's take this off here into this red thing here. Is it going to be easier to take this off first, I wonder? I'm going to push it in and see. Oh no, I don't know if that's actually got to go in there, has it? No, it doesn't. It just sits right on the entrance to it. And that fits in just like that. Can you see that okay? I think so. Then we're going to trowel this wire through these channels here. Let's come out again. Get in there. Right. Stand by. I get really fussy with wire tidy. But there we go. That's the first one in. We've got another channel just around here. Just going to see where it's going after that. It goes into this middle section here. Push that down. That's 2. Oh, it's going well so far. So we've got 1 there. We've got another trench just there. That's number 2. Right. It's going to get exciting now. Now we leave that one for a second because we're going to be taking the one from the landing light here. And that's going to be going in this direction into these troughs that we can see just here. So that's going to go off in that direction there. This might be a good time to just use a bit of my insulating tape just to keep that pinned down while I'm working on them. Like that. Okay, so the second one, which is coming from this. Oh, I've done that wrong. Well, they're both going in the same direction anyway. Just checking. Yep, they're going to be following this one. So that's going to go there. Let's move that engine one out of the way. Into that. And into that one there. Again, hold that down. And then the third one is just coming from where we just had it there and following all the other 3. Very neat, isn't it? One there. Get in there. One there. One there. And again, I'm just going to put that insulating tape just over the top to keep them in place. Yep, looking good. Now we're going to be putting a catch just over this to hold that section in there. I'm just seeing how many we're holding in. We're going to be putting 2 in that one, so I can pull this one back a little bit. Where's me tweezers? That one's just going to go round those sections there. Ah, excellent, excellent, excellent. Which means we need to cut another part off the sprue, which is this one just here. Let's get that off. 1, 2. Doesn't really matter what way round this goes, but we're going to be putting this in with 1.4 times 4mm screws. So this will be the other ones that we saw. Just going to put them over the top. Check it. Wants to fall out? Of course it does. Nothing wants to stay in. I'll get a screw ready for this. These PHO screws, you'd be shocked at how many of these smaller screws it can actually handle. There we go. Put that in there. What I saying that? We got it in. There we go. go very quiet when that happens. Right, that's the first one in. Put the second one in. Just following the pictures. So there's the second one in. Right, we've got a little catch to put all these under here, so I don't need that. All of these wires here can go underneath this black hook that we've got just there. So I will put them all in. Let's do that one first. Wow, it's going to be a little bit fiddly, this one. That's the first one in. There's the second one in. And last but not least, that's the third one in. Well, that went quite easy, didn't it? Is that all we got to do? That's all we got to do. And then all we've got to do is just check the operation. I'm going to try and hold this off the stand now. Turn it upside down without breaking it. Of the landing gear. So there's the landing gear, landing light there. And you should be able to open it and tilt it upwards and downwards. Up, down, up, down. I'm guessing that is going to be motorized. Otherwise, it's just going to sit like that. Nothing's going to really force it closed. It's got to be. Got to be. So I'll put this back on the stand because that is all there is to do in that issue. Which means we're going to be doing issue 45. Issue 45 is going to be an exact mirror of issue 43. We're going to be making the landing gear light. This time, different colour plastic in here though. So once again, we're going to be putting the LED into this housing here, putting the housing in the cradle, putting the cover on the cradle to keep that in place, and putting that onto that flat section that we just saw me put in there. And then once again, we are going to be putting the little LED light, optic fibre kind of thing, just on the end there. And that's all we're doing. So I'm going to put a little bit of tape over that to keep that in place. That's it. Should be a nice easy build, this one. This is what we've got in this issue. So another sprue, we've got another light, and once again we've got another sticker. So I'm just going to get these open. You know what, these things, these trays are invaluable for storing glue in, for mixing epoxy in. I use my Gorilla Glue epoxy for putting these in. They're just brilliant for doing little weathering on paint, to make oil washes. You could put black in there and some water in there. I mean, they're brilliant. I've got so many of them. But you can imagine with this build, I'm just going to lay all the pieces out that we need here. Obviously, that's everything there. This being starboard is going to be green. The other one we put in being the port one is red. Red is port and green is starboard, if you didn't know that. And this is where everyone will put in comments how to remember port and starboard. I use, out of all the things that people tell me, I always use the one that port has 4 letters in it and so does left. So that's it. But someone said about port being red when you drink it. So that's a good way to remember it as well. But I'm sure there's some poetry or rhymes or, I don't know, something clever. So this one says L. Let's get this one on this side. L10. We're putting on that light there. So that's been done. Okay, so the first thing we need is this lens here. This is what the LED is going to be going into. So I'm going to put the LED in just like that. We're then going to be putting this into the cradle, which means I'm going to need to take these sprues off. So I'll cut them off now. We got one here. One here. Bit tricky, these sprues, I have to say. One here. One here. Because these ones here, look where the flashing is. It's right next to the part on 2 sides. So you can't just get your sprue cutters in one side there. Very, very tricky. There we go. But that's them all off. So the lens is going to fit in the same direction that we've got on this one. So this is just going to be fitting in. Now, do we glue this in? I believe we did, didn't we? No, we don't use glue. It says, whatever you do, don't use glue. You've got a little tab just at the bottom there, which is going to go into the hole there, which is going to keep all of this in one place. So I'm just going to make sure that I've lined it up correctly and that that tab is in the hole, which it is. And the LED is in the back there. Now we need to close this up with the top section here, which is just going to go over the top. And we are going to need to put 2 little bits of glue in there. Now, I haven't got my glue ready, so I'm going to have to do all of this while I'm holding it. So put these lugs in here. There we go. We've got one complete lamp. Just holding that in place for a second. Keep holding it. Keep holding it. Okay. And then the last thing I'm going to do is the 2 holes that we got on the bottom there are just going to go into the 2 lugs that we can see on this section. Just do a quick dry fit of that just to see how they fit. Whoops, get around there. Not very good by the look of it. There we go. And they're going to fit in just like that. So once again, I'm going to put some glue just into those holes there. Again, I don't swamp these with glue. You never know when you have to get these apart. So once again, I'm going to line these up. 1, 2, and hold that into place. Just for a second. That was a quick issue, wasn't it? And there we go. That's the other landing light completed there. Bring over the Spitfire. And then this time, what we'll do is I'll put this support just under that wing, because the green light is just going to go, it's got some channels on either side there. Just going to follow the design on this. Now, as you can see, we have got sort of like a lip on it. I'm just going to make sure I'm putting this in the right way. Not sure, they look the same. Looks the same no matter what way round you put it in. I'm going to push that in here and it should seat itself quite nicely in there. Just like that. There we go, that's not going anywhere. But you know me, if I knock that, I'm going to regret it. So I'm just going to put that over the top for now. So that's all in one place. And that's all there is to do in that stage. And there you go, that's another 2 issues of the Spitfire done. Now in issue 46, we're going to be doing exactly what we just did at the start of this video. We're going to be tracing the wire tidies on the starboard wing, and we're going to be putting that starboard landing light in. But I really do hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.